Critical Thinking and Analysis, Level 200, Communication Studies, Group 1. Have you ever tried to tell someone something and realized that what you said came across with a whole different meaning? This was due to a fault in your language, meaning and construction. Language and meaning construction. This has to do with communicating effectively, making sure that when you are exchanging meaning, either through writing or talking, there are no contradictions or misinterpretations or false statements, basically bringing ideas across clearly and plainly to the understanding of your audience. Language and meaning construction, these are the things to look out for. Ambiguity, vagueness, definitions, use and mention, inconsistency and consistency, implication, equivalent, necessary truth and necessary falsehood, contingent truth and contingent falsehood.
Definitions are very useful in explaining and clarifying meanings. The typical definition has two parts, the definendum and the definens. The definendum is the term being defined. The definens is the word that gives meaning to the definendum. Example, if I say science, science is a definendum. If I say science is a way or the study of nature, that's the definens. The types of definitions: reportive definition, stipulative definitions, and precising definition. Let's start with reportive definition, also known as lexical definition. It reports the existing meaning of a term. The main criteria for analyzing a reportive definition is the meaning of the definee should match exactly the meaning of the definendum. Stipulative definition is used to assign new meaning to a term that already has a meaning. For example, if I say a lady is hot, I don't mean the temperature. I'm talking about how good she's looking, how well she's dressed, and not temperature. Now the last, precising definition. Precising definition gives a vivid explanation to words. For example, if a lecturer says all students that passes my exams is going to get 50 CDs, it is vague because anybody can assign a meaning to it. I can have a D and it's a pass, but then if he says any student who gets B plus or A is going to get 50 CDs, that is a vivid explanation of what he's trying to say. And now here are some take-home criteria for evaluating all kinds of definitions. Firstly, you have to use intentional definitions if possible. Avoid circularity, avoid obscurity, and then last one, avoid persuasive definitions.
Ambiguity is a word with more than one meaning. We have types of ambiguities. The lexical. It's a kind of, in these cases, it's where a single word or name has different meaning. An example is, I have faith in God. I have faith my child will pass his exam. The faith is the woman seeing his child learning and believing that the child will pass the exam. Another example is, baby, come home and eat. After you eat. Okay, sometimes ambiguity has different spelling but the same meaning, like light and over. And the next example is, referential ambiguity arises when a context does not make it clear what a pronoun or quantifier is. An example is, Obed hit Elvis with his iPhone, then he died. Who died? It could be Elvis, it could be Obed, or someone passing by. So with this, it doesn't make clear what we're talking about. The next, we have syntactic ambiguity, where there is more than one way to interpret the grammatical structure of an expression. Okay, an example is, Obed saw Isabella on the roof with a telescope. So with the example I gave, Obed saw Isabella on the roof with a telescope. It could be that Isabella was holding the telescope standing on the rooftop, or Obed looked at Isabella through a telescope.
Basic logic. Logic can be explained as anything or statement that is valid, in other words, true. And in everyday reason, logic is used. In logic, there are two types, deductive and inductive logic. We normally say all squares are rectangles. That's not entirely true, but logic says that these two shapes has 4 sides each. All dogs have a good sense of smell. Now, if you have a dog, logic reasoning will tell you that your dog also has a good sense of smell. These fall under deductive logic. Consistency. Consistency refers to any statement that is logically true and consistent. Any other statement is inconsistent. The statement, my parents are happy and my parents are married, is consistent. Anyone who is married is a happy person. An example in the book states that the age of Viviana is 20 and Viviana is 30 is inconsistent. One person cannot have 2 ages, so this statement is logically wrong. Entailment. In logic, an entailment is the relationship between sentences, whereby one sentence will be true if all the others are also true. From the book, 2 statements were used. P, a bomb exploded in landing, and kill, something exploded somewhere. This basically means that P implies kill, but kill doesn't imply P. If something exploded, it can't always be a bomb that exploded. Literally, anything can explode.
Meaning does not reside in linguistic units, but is constructed in the minds of the language users. The construction of meaning is guided by cognitive principles, and these cognitive principles were set by my colleagues. Before you think critically or want to communicate with other people for the better understanding, you must take these principles into consideration. Thank you.